good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right, thank you. First and foremost, we thank each and every one of you individually, and again, all of you together collectively for the co-creation of this interaction and the allowance of this transmission this day of your time. You have been exploring the idea of consciousness, so let us take the idea a little bit further. What exactly is consciousness? Well, it is self-awareness, self-reflection. In order for you to know that you are you, you have to have something else to compare it to. Without a concept of an other, you would not have a concept of self. Therefore, consciousness is literally self-reflection, self-awareness, the ability to know the self by knowing what is not the self. The idea is, as we have described from time to time, that existence is one unbroken thing. There is an aspect or a form or a version of existence that we call the one, for convenience, that does not know itself. It is completely homogeneous in the sense that there is nothing else but it. Therefore, there is absolutely no reference point for it. Therefore, it has no sense of self, no experience, no self-awareness whatsoever.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
Yes. So, I don't really have a question, but
you can make a statement.
I can make some kind of query into something.
A query is a question.
I recently heard about something called the delusion of grandeur.
Yes.
And I have experienced this myself on several occasions.
Oh, all right. How exciting.
Yeah, sometimes very, very exciting, and then I get blasted back into reality, and it's like not that nice.
All right. So, well, the phrase is usually representative of the negative ego expressing itself.
The phrase is the negative ego expressing itself?
Delusions of grandeur can mean many things in your society. It can have negative meaning, it can have positive meaning, or it can be used negatively or positively. In some senses, it is a way of sometimes reminding people that they might be getting ahead of themselves. Otherwise, it can be used to also suppress people. You have to have the discernment to understand how it's being used. Some people who are afraid of people excelling might say you're having delusions of grandeur just because you're attempting to go what they believe to be beyond your station in life. And you shouldn't be reaching for the stars. You should be happy just to reach the moon. So you have to be able to tell the difference between them when they're attempting to put you down, as opposed to when someone might actually be logically and wisely advising you that you might be thinking more highly of yourself than you need to be, in a negative way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I have another question about these recurring nightmares that I have about the ocean and.
Oh, how exciting!
Yeah, it's very exciting. I was wondering if you had some insight into like what that might be.
It usually, not always, but it usually, in general, is a reflection of dealing with deep emotional issues.
So
does that ring a bell?
How can I deal with those a little more efficiently or?
Well, are you experiencing the ideas of believing in lack of self-worth or lack of deservability?
Yeah.
All right. Then that's a good place to start to understand that you have belief systems about yourself that is filtering your energy in a manner where you are creating a discounting energy of yourself. Is there something in life you would rather be doing, something that is your dream, your passion, that you're holding back from for some reason?
Probably, yeah.
That means yes.
Yes.
What would that be, or what might it be? It doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all, but can you name one thing that you would really, really be passionate and excited to do that you are not doing for some reason? For some belief system you have that something bad might happen if you do? Or that you're not good enough, not worthy enough, or someone might reject you if you went in the direction of your truth. Any of those ringing a bell?
Yeah, those are ringing little bells.
All right. Do they add up to one big bell?
The one, the one big bell.
All right. Is someone calling you a ding dong?
Yeah, everybody call me a ding dong.
All right. Well, can you give us an example of what you're passionate about that you're not doing?
Well, I'm doing I'm doing these things, but I would like to be doing them on 1,000 times better.
Yes. Well, that's what we say. When you're doing your excitement, you have to do it in the most exciting way. If you're not really doing it in the most exciting way to the fullest that you can, you're not really doing your full excitement. So what is holding you back in your belief system, in your definitions of yourself and your definitions of life? What's holding you back from doing it 1,000 times more strongly? What are you afraid of, in other words? What are you afraid will happen?
There's a big fear.
Of? Come on. Nothing to be afraid of, to be afraid. Come on. What? What are you afraid will happen? You're among friends.
I mean, I don't know. It can't get much worse than like.
Oh, sure it can.
Yeah.
Believe me,
what's the ultimate fear? The ultimate fear
very
of
creative at
dying
making things
something?
worse. Now, can you be
I guess making things worse.
at making them better? That's the question.
What was that?
Don't use your creativity to make things worse. That proves you are creative, so why not use your creativity to make things better for yourself instead of worse? The universe doesn't care which way you use the energy. Since you have proven to yourselves that you can make things worse, why not choose to use the same creativity to make things better? Yes?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So, what are you afraid? Just one little thing you're afraid might happen if you actually open up to being the you prefer to be and doing the things you prefer to do in the way you prefer to do them. What's one little fear you have of something that might happen? Just one.
I don't know.
Oh,
maybe
come
like
on. Yes, you do.
I'd probably get too wild or something and kill myself.
Too wild and kill yourself. Fascinating that you would equate the idea of having so much fun that you would kill yourself.
Yes, hello, dears. This is the Ninth Dimensional Pleiadian Collective, and it is a pleasure and an honor to have the opportunity to connect with you. So we're very excited today to have the opportunity to take your questions, to share our perspectives, and we always like to acknowledge those who've shown up in the room, not just you, but the tribe of beings that you brought along. It's a very full house, as we always say, because each of you has got dozens of guides who are showing up. They're very curious about what's going on with this collection and this concentration of light that's going on in Burbank. And so we want to acknowledge their presence, because too often on this planet, you feel that you don't have a lot of support. You feel that you are just struggling down here, you're looking up to the sky and saying to your guides, where is my support? I need your help. You're not showing up, you're not helping me. Well, we always are here. We're always sharing information. The question is, are you getting quiet enough to hear the answer? Many times, no. And we understand that this is not an easy process, because you are being asked to, in the midst of chaos, calm yourself and tame the wild beast that is your mind. The habits that you have created since birth, and even pre-birth, the ones that you have taken on from your genetic line, that you're being asked to let go of many of those limiting beliefs and to just be in your stillness. We're going to talk a little bit later about integration of the feminine energy, because really, if you are not integrating it as you move into 2018, it is going to be a very challenging year for you.
Hi, thank you. I have a question about being in interactions with other people where I'll have a knowing, or sometimes it comes from inside, sometimes it's something that comes from outside, about that person, and feeling some confusion about when I have the right to share that, even though a question may not have been asked.
So first thing we would say is to check in with yourself about how that energy plays out with you. Because for most of you, when you all start to recognize energy in others, it is playing out in yourself, which is why you're recognizing it. There's no right or wrong here, because you know, this is about you trusting yourself in the moment, for you to say, is this appropriate in the moment to share? Because here's the thing, if you express it and that person is not open, what will happen is it will go in one ear and out the other. If it was information that they really needed to hear, but they just aren't ready to hear it, they will hear it, acknowledge it, and say, that's nice, thank you, and then let it go. And then they'll hear it again someplace else, and they'll say, now this is the second time I've heard this, that's interesting, and they may not be ready for it then. And then there may be a third time, and they'll say, all right, now I've heard it 3 times, I really need to start paying attention. So it may be that you're planting a seed. So pay attention first to yourself. Is it your ego's need to be right, to share information? Because many of you do that. Notice how it feels within you. Does it feel flat? If it feels flat, that usually means that this is not your issue. All right? When you feel highly charged, it means that you've got the same program running. And it can be the flip side. So maybe they are suppressing energy, maybe you're overexpressing it. So there are 2 sides to that dualistic coin. So, you know, it's either the overexpression or the suppression of energy. So just check in with yourself. The ego doesn't like that because the ego wants a hard and fast answer to say, yes, I do, no, I don't. Trust your instincts, there's no right. And, you know, again, if it's not the right time, they're not ready, that's up to them. You can only share information. We will say, for you specifically, be very conscious of your boundaries, because there's a lot more energy going out than what you're allowing yourself to receive right now. And when you feel like you're constantly sharing and sometimes oversharing, it's because it's showing you, and you might get some pushback from people on that, then you need to take some time to recharge yourself. If you are in balance, you're not going to get the pushback in the same way. All right? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Greetings, this is the Pleadian Collective. As always, it is wonderful to connect with you beautiful universal beings of love and light. Take a breath, all of you. Inhale and exhale. Do it again and again. There's a lot of energy in the space right now, so just keep breathing here. And put your attention squarely on yourself right now as you breathe. And check in. How do you feel? Are you in your body? Are you out of your body? Are you half in and out? Do you hurt anywhere? Do you feel extra yummy and good somewhere? Just really check in and tune in and keep breathing here as you do this. And just observe, right? So if you've got a pain or an ache, don't judge it, don't claim it as bad, or don't try to shoo it away. Just really be with yourselves right now in this moment. You are love incarnate. That is your origin. That is our origin. That is this table's origin, the stage's origin, the chair you're sitting on. That is Donald Trump's origin, right? Love incarnate. The mind says, all right, I get it. Don't want to get it, don't want to get it. The heart, well, the heart says, yeah. We are all love incarnate. Not the heart, I love you, honey, I love you, child. Not that version of the heart chakra. That's not what we're talking about here, right? There's that interpersonal heart chakra space that you use to develop your relationships and interrelate with one another. And then there is the grander version of your heart chakras.
Hello, Nora.
Hi there.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. What's your name?
Dr. Theo or Theo.
Theo.
Yeah. First question I have is, as a child, I think all of us have had special events that have happened that let us know that maybe we're not from this planet. I feel the idea of telekinesis and being able to do extraordinary things has been with me since childhood. And now I actually went through the dark night of the soul for many, many years with bullying, etc. And now I'm just re-finding myself in the past, I'd say 5-6 years, with this this personal year of growth, doing channeling and actually knowing I'm a voice channel and I'm able to do that. And also with miracles happening in my private practice, things I can't explain, and I always try to find amazing explanations for. And being able to write books that are just coming through me like crazy, with my 8th book coming out next year. So I'm really thankful. I'm thankful and grateful, and I've grown so much. I'm wondering, what is this? Am I Pleadian? I mean, is there another? Who messed with my DNA? What happened?
This is the Pleadians here. we want to touch on a couple of things that you talked about. So one of the first things you talked about that caught our attention was that as a child, you had extraordinary experiences, and that at some point you shut them down, the experiences themselves shut down, events around you caused you to shut them down. That's a very common story for a lot of you. And the reason for that is you can only elevate your consciousness or your vibration so high above the collective before you have to leave. Literally die, right? Physical density won't support your energy any longer if you're that far outside of the game. So a lot of you came in with highly elevated consciousnesses, or you had these elevating experiences as children, and then you scheduled for yourselves, massive losses, trauma moments, experiences that would completely take your focus and attention away from that higher energy, throw you into your bodies, literally, into the densest version of yourselves.
Good. Welcome, Council of Light, for that is who we are addressing. For you are here, of course, in your human bodies, but you also bring with you great swathes of energetics. For many of you are attached to so many higher energies, it is a little like looking at you all with a great mass of helium balloons attached to you above your head. Ha! That is how we see and perceive this room. Therefore, we understand that this is a council conversation, and we have been given the talking stick for a moment. But what we will tell you about today is that you are all under the illusion that these supposed channelers, human beings on the stage, are the ones doing the talking. You who are supposedly doing the listening are actually doing more talking than anybody today. You are the noisiest of the group. So well done, pat yourselves on the back. That is a good thing. But then that is where channeling is useful. For channeling is not just an energetic transmission from another being or another source. It is actually a co-created conversation between the channeled being, the channeler, and the receiver or the listener. So sometimes people look at channelers and see them as completely separate from themselves, whereas the truth is, if you have ever been in a room with a channeler, or across the airwaves with a channeler, or on the receiving end of a message from a channeler, then you are actually creating that experience even more than they are. That is something to think about. This is how creation operates on your planet. There are many levels happening all at once, and right now in this room, you all agreed to come here for many of you are actually quite weary at this point. Not necessarily negatively weary, but just weary. The energies on your planet are ramping up, and we will say that emotional need is higher than ever on Earth. This is a good thing, even though it may not look or appear that way. It is a good thing for people's emotional fields are cracking open. And when the emotional field is open and free-flowing, new choices can be made.
So first, I've been noticing in myself that it's harder for me to find questions, find the place of questions.
Ah, what a gift.
And so I'm just going to say some things. Number one, I'm feeling a lot of energy right now, and I'm changing the belief structures that that's bad, that shaking is bad, or, I'm like, yeah, I'm afraid right now. Like, yeah, I'm shaking. That's good. And I'm really thankful for Kalina Angell to reflect a big part of me back towards myself. And so much of what you have said has just been right on. And if I did have any questions, you burned right through them. I consider myself a channeler, and where my excitement lies, is to start calling these energies and these frequencies into myself, and to group together like this, and to start acting out, calling in our extra-dimensional, our extraterrestrial friends, or mermaids, or whatever you're into. And I guess if there is a question, is how do you see this, and how would you go about acting this out and getting organized and calling yourself into this plane of existence?
Good. Well, first things first, let's look at your chakras for a second, for you have successfully made your mind smaller over the last year or two. Ha, quite an achievement. Not what most people would think they would want to go for, but what we mean by this is you have started to shrink down a lot of the old mental beliefs, which can only be done when the emotions have cleared. What we see of you right now, if we look at you energetically, is you have an enormous heart chakra, like an enormous shield, a circular shield that is reaching beyond your arms, your shoulders. And you have a powerful, but what we would call in development, base chakra.
Greetings to all, this is Aridif, that is R-I-D-I-F, and this is its spell. We understand that many of you have queries in this day, but before diving in to those queries, there are three things in which we must express. The first thing, above and beyond all things expressed within this day, to know, feel, and perceive that you are loved. In our perspective, it's the utmost importance. Secondly, we are in our greatest excitement to co-create with each and every one of you, singularly and collectively, as we go forward through this venture, co-created together with one consciousness turned into that collective consciousness. Thirdly, we wish to speak on the construct of what the Big Bang query means. We were asked to speak of this, and it can be spoken upon in multiple different layers, many different energies, and many different perspectives. But in our own perspective, what is the Big Bang? This is something all scientists believe that they understand, the creation of the universe itself, the particles that co-create with one another through gravity, force, heat, to expand into an explosive means that created all of the matter within the universal construct. And we can perceive something that is similar to this in the co-creation of that experience, but we do not wish to focus upon the physical attributes or aspects of that specific nature of the energy. What we wish to dive into is the consciousness that is connected to the energy that co-created and created the entire universal collective consciousness. Now, when you look into the universal collective consciousness, what do you all perceive? You perceive that you are living on a planet that goes around a star. That star goes within the galactic collective consciousness around your central Milky Way black hole, and that is one galaxy amongst infinite versions of galaxies. And this is quite true in some way, but again, we focus upon the consciousness behind the physical attributes. What is the universe at large? It is the entire collection of all the consciousnesses that have been fractalized from all of the different energies below it.
Hello, Aridif.
Greetings.
My name's Darren.
Yes, greetings.
This is all very new to me, so I need like the Sesame Street version of a lot of this. So excuse my my ignorance on anything I'm asking or trying to figure out. Actually, have you guys ever done a drinking game where you drink every time you say consciousness? Because that could be pretty cool.
Yes, we have not done this, but we understand what you mean.
But my real question, so in trying to wrap my head around all of this and being connected to our higher selves or versions of our higher selves and different entities and consciousnesses, so I have a lot of questions about the afterlife, and obviously then we're saying that there is an afterlife that we go to. Do we connect, or can we be connected with those we've lost in our lives in that afterlife? And is that part of our being connected to our higher selves or our other higher states?
Yes, we understand the question. And what we can tell you is this, that when you are passing out of your physical body into your non-physical experience, you are going between vibrational levels. This energy here, most we would call this third density. Everything is very dense. The experience of most is to explore oneself, to organize thoughts and patterns and experiences around such an experience of self-exploration, experience of linear time, etc. The next energy is fourth density. This is where you go in to explore not only the openness of your own heart, but how you connect to other things. In this experience, the Earth Collective is not connected with anything. There is not even connection within its own co-creators. A fourth density version of Earth would be where all religions set aside differences and start co-creating. They open themselves to connect instead of staying disconnected to experiences. That is where you are heading. That is where your energy as an Earth and human collective consciousness are going.
Wonderful to be here with all of you in these blending moments together. In this day of our time, together we can explore more of the infinite that we all are, more of the unconditional love that is all of our actual nature. To feel more into the reality of the creation of the universe. Really, in our perception, has always existed the universe, and can change and does change in the ways in which it exists, just as you change, and just as you are born into this life and transition out of this life, out of this incarnation into another form. The physical embodiments of planets and solar systems and galaxies have a similar experience of life within the universe, that they and we are all the one, that is the all.
Hello, my name is Charmian.
Charmian, hello.
Hello, it's
Charmian.
a great blessing to be in your presence. Thank you very much.
Blessing as well for me in presence with you, dear.
I've been traveling for 30 years. I travel, people call me, light workers call me, so I move to where they are, and I take them through a process I call my light worker training, where we connect with our multidimensional aspects, Sirius, Pleiades, Lemuria, Atlantis. We bring those elements in, and then each one of us channels, gives messages, gives healing to each other, to the earth, from that place. So it's really for self-empowerment, to help people to really know who they are. So my question is, I found myself living in Los Angeles. I was kind of tired being on the road for 30 years. And I said, I want to go home now. And my daughter had a baby here, so I found myself living here. But when I started teaching my class here, this incredibly powerful group of people is coming together, light workers, and I'm feeling that LA is a very significant place in the ascension process, and that's why I'm being guided here. So I'm wanting to know, what is the significance of Los Angeles for me personally and in the ascension process itself?
There are many dear friends that you have opportunity to reconnect to here. In this fashion, you are attracting them to, and you will be attracted to them as they are attracted to you. In this location of physicality, spatial locationship, most conducive in this timing location for you to reconnect to these aspects, these shared souls that can be very enriching, uplifting for you and for them. So it can be as simple as this. We are here for you. Yes. We are the creators. We are a 12th dimensional collective of non-physical beings. You'll experience us as pure consciousness. We are delighted to be a part of this gathering and to share with you our perspective. We are creators. We own that. We are universal architects. We had a hand in the creation of this universe, but we did not do it alone. In fact, all of us co-created this universe together because it took all of our collective energy to make all of this happen.
My question is about water.
Yes.
And for example, last week I was in my bathtub covered with water, and I opened my window, and I could hear the river outside. I could hear the rain pouring down, and I loved the sounds that the water makes when it interacts. And then I was splashing my hand against the water, and even when I'm out for a walk and hear a tinkle of a brook or a waterfall, I think of beings, like I'm aware of there are beings there that perhaps they thrive on the water energy, or perhaps I'm just feeling them, but I'd like to know what it is I'm feeling. I feel entities around water when I'm with water.
Yes, it's life-affirming water. It is the thing that scientists look for when they're looking for evidence that life does exist or could exist in other parts of the solar system and the galaxy. So water really is life. It represents life. It activates within you more of the living tissue of your physical body. It gives you life. It is necessary for life. And so when you are connecting to it, you are also recognizing that you are in those moments in the flow. So as you focus on a sound that is pleasant to you, when you focus on an experience like taking a bath that is pleasant to you, you are in the flow. You are in the flow, and when you are in the flow, you are connected.
Hello. We are so amazingly pleased to be here with you and to share this co-creation. The fact that you answered the call to come, to join together, is beautiful. And it's also something you should be listening to always. Anytime you have the chance to come together with other beings who are aware and moving more into awareness, it only strengthens your own connection. What we would encourage everyone to do is to realize that everyone's in a different stage. It's easier to say, but you're either where they were or where they're going. So in all moments, you should try to have as much empathy and compassion for everyone's situation, because you never quite know what it is. So we're going to talk a little bit about this Big Bang query. We like that. It's a question. And we wanted to talk to you about the perspective of why the universe was created and what was the reason. So,
hi. So several years ago, I started having these recurring dreams about my legs not working, and I'm guessing I missed that message because then after a while, last year, I started getting a lot of pain in my legs, and it flares up every once in a while and makes it kind of difficult to walk or to function. And I wanted to see if you could tell me anything about the pain and the reason for its existence.
Okay, one moment. We wouldn't say to you that you missed the message. We think it's actually quite good you ignored it, because whatever you focus on, you get more of. So, but we also believe that you do have, as beings, sometimes the gift of precognition, to know what is maybe coming. So you weren't surprised when you started to have the pain. So we would a little bit do the opposite of now focusing on it. We wouldn't focus on it so much. We would focus on well-being as opposed to focusing on the pain. That is a method of healing, or the way of healing is to focus on well-being, because we will say this, that everything that is, and it also exists. So there is the part of you that has this pain existing, and then there's another part of you, probably slightly to the right or to the left, that doesn't have this pain.
Good evening. Or morning, rather. This is Darryl from the Arcturian 103 Collective. Before we begin, we want to let you know a little bit about the style of this channeling. It is no more that of a blended being. So when we speak, Kalina is here also. And we're giving her an extra boost of loving energy. She thinks she has more resistance than she lets on, but she is feeling quite welcome here with all of your beautiful love, and we thank you for giving her that extra boost of love. We've been waiting a long time to speak together with all of you. So you all came here to talk about the Big Bang query. It's a very exciting topic. There is this concept of oneness that most of you all in here would agree with, would you not? How many of you all feel that interconnectedness with all of the oneness that we are? Most of us in here have felt what they call God or source, energy, universe. These are all different ways of experiencing what you would call the energy of God. When we talk about the Big Bang query, you're really coming here looking for more answers, are you not? So you're not really looking for more questions, but we'll let you know a little secret. You will probably end up having more questions when you get out of here today. And that's good, because you'll be able to sit with your own guides and find your own connections and your own interconnectedness with the oneness that is.